to, which is, where'd it go? There it is. Roll the Destiny pool. So let's see what you get to wonderfully start with before we get our session rolling.
All right, so roll Destiny.
Roll Destiny, sir.
Fingers crossed, everybody. All right, same one I've gotten all night.
Perfect, perfect.
Heck
This
yeah.
is his first session ever. That's true. This is Wade's very first time playing a tabletop role-playing anything, and I'm excited.
Me too.
Scott, I am. Stop gaslighting me. Listen, it was like Doxy's close to her first time, and she loved it. Scott, so I'm just saying. So your character is a criminal, and you want to start on the core worlds, correct? You are typically from like Coruscant, you said, which is a heavy city
My family
planet.
started on the core world. I believe my mother is now kind of in hiding around Nar Shaddaa.
Cool.
So we can start around there.
You wanna start on Nar Shaddaa?
I mean, that's probably it's a nice criminally place.
Yeah, sure. That works for me. And how long have you been on Nar Shaddaa?
Oh, let's see. This is like year. Let me bring up my little document here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're around 15 ABY.
Correct.
So probably about 12 years.
You've been here for 12 years. Now, do you live with your mother, or do you live on your own? How old, your character is how old?
He's about 30 years old. This is a tough decision to make. I'm gonna say I don't live with her, but I stay close by to make sure she's okay.
So you have regular contact with her and kind of chat with her and stuff. But you live a relatively, especially recently, a relatively solitary life.
Yes.
Right.
I'm trying to keep a lower profile as of recent times because there was a big event in my character's life.
All right, let's get into it then. Wade, for Siam, it's probably been a good year, maybe close to 2, since the event has taken place. The thing that put him into a position he has not been in since maybe his teenage years. One of no or very little influence and almost no power. His life leading up to the past couple of years has been pretty good outside of, what you know of your family and your father and the like. But due to a very specific instance, and one that we are not going to talk about specifically now, Siam for the past year or so has lived in a rather small house, even maybe a room. Do you picture Siam right now living with somebody, or does he have his own place?
No, he's on his own right now. He's very cautious. He was very cautious of who he trusted before. Right now, he doesn't trust anyone outside of his immediate, like his mother, basically.
Okay. So you live in a, we'll say maybe like a small, like 1-bedroom, bathroom kind of apartment.
Yeah.
The thing about Nar Shaddaa is that it is a crime homeworld. The Nar Shaddaa, for those who may not know anything about Star Wars, is Hutt-ruled, Hutt-controlled, and is on the Outer Rims. And the Outer Rims, for just as an explanation for those who don't know the time period we're playing in right now, we're playing in between episodes 6 and 7. The Empire has fallen. We're at a time where Ben Solo is probably around 10 years old and is training with Luke, wherever his temple may or may not be. Not a lot of people know. While Luke is a legend, the man who brought down the Empire almost by himself, where he has gone and those he is training are relatively kept secret. Because the Empire has fallen and the Empire is mostly infighting, almost all of the Empire influence on the Outer Rims is gone. Because the Emperor himself and Darth Vader are gone, there is a large power vacuum within this once galactic government that people are vying for control over. Generals within the Empire are trying to assert themselves to be the one to lead the Empire forward, while the New Republic is rising up from what was once the rebellion and establishing true law and order in a time of peace, or relative peace comparatively when the war was relatively raging. The core worlds themselves, a little bit more tumultuous as the Empire struggles to hold on to what they can. They are not gone, as we would see in the near future. The First Order will eventually rise and Snoke will eventually take control of it. But in the time period we're at now, that's not happened, and there's just a lot of infighting happening. What that means for the Outer Rim, however, is that because the Empire is gone, it frees up a lot of elbow room and a lot of shoulder room for new crime lords to rise, for old crime lords, old crime rings to expand and become new powers that they didn't have before, taking control of areas that may have been even remotely Empire controlled, now trying to take their own. So while the core world have the infighting of the Empire, the Outer Rim has the fighting of other opposing Hutts and crime lords to establish dominance out there. And it's a perfect place for Siam to be hiding. It's almost the perfect place. There's only one other place that might be better for him or good for him to hide, and that would be Coruscant. Because Coruscant is a world where, much like the Outer Rims, people go to hide and disappear in. So that's the history in which we're playing in right now. However, when the camera opens, we see the outskirts of a rather large city, Nar Shaddaa. The smog is rising and covering the suns themselves. It's very difficult to see, and even this far out, the smell of a rotten, disgusting city filled with criminals and scum and villainy reaches miles beyond. Nar Shaddaa itself smells for what it was. You see, Nar Shaddaa, before the Hutts took over and crime and cities popped up, was a relatively nice forest world with swamps. However, that doesn't really maintain that when the Hutts move in and kind of dominate the area. Nar Shaddaa is basically the grosser version of Coruscant on the Outer Rim. As we zoom into the city, we are surrounded by story-tall buildings, people packing the streets, speeders flying down, and just conversations in more more alien dialects than the ear can handle. The camera kind of pans its way off a very tall 10-story building and finds its way into a very small home where we find ourselves a rather interesting looking Bothan sitting on a chair with a data pad in hand. Now, this would be Siam. Wait, what does Siam look like to you in your mind?
He's tall. He's tall for a Bothan. Man, I don't know what the average Bothan looks like. He's got almost a scowl on his face. The years have not been kind to him and his family, so he has this this angry disposition, and a little bit of an arrogance to him. He thinks he knows. So he has like a smug scowl, if that's an expression someone can make.
Yeah.
As he's contemplating how to get his life back in order and improve conditions for his family and get back to his ultimate goal of trying to make sure that the Empire doesn't rise again.
Great. So you're sitting there in your chair, and his clothing right now is very tattered, right? Very well worn, stuff that you've had for a while. Not anything fancy, correct?
Yeah, I guess I'm not wearing my duct tape suit just yet.
Your duct. Well, yeah, whatever you bought for your
heavy clothing, whatever.
Yeah, the heavy clothing, more or less, which is a little ragtag itself. You're kind of leaning back in your chair, you have a data pad in your hand, and you're kind of flipping through odd jobs. You've been going through time and time again, just odd ends to barely survive and barely make ends meet and maybe cover your rent and help out your mom if she needs it. The sounds outside are deafening, but I imagine for Siam at this point in his life, and maybe all of his life, the sounds of a bustling city are maybe one of the only few sounds that are calming to him, the things he's used to. It's like falling asleep and living in New York City all of your life. Without the sounds of honking horns and screaming people and arguments and conversations and people trying to hawk their wares on the side of the road under some, homemade tent, it almost would be eerily silent. So while those noises would be noticeable to anyone else, to you, they go completely unnoticed. The neon lights of signs and bars outside also blink and peer into your windows. Maybe not bothering you, but you can never truly get rid of them. Even if you bring your shades down, they still somehow are able to peer their way and pour themselves into your room. Natural lighting from the sun is just not something you've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
With that in mind, as Siam is kind of flipping through his data pad looking for odd jobs, something does come up. There is a human woman, who you have dealt with in the past here and there, maybe every so often, who usually offers you a job that pays decent for the work that she offers. But the most important thing about this woman, whose name you've never truly ever gotten, she never really given you her name before, is that
in this line of work.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually very common. But the thing that always sticks out to you about her is she always pays you on time, and she always pays you what she says she's going to pay you.
Okay.
The dangerous thing about working in these kinds of things is that people who offer you jobs, you can never truly be sure if they're going to pay you exactly what they say, come up with an excuses why they should pay you less, or they just try and scam you out of the job completely. More than not, there are jobs out there that pay good money, but they're almost always suicidal. They're hit jobs on somebody so powerful that you yourself could not take them on yourself. But this woman, runner jobs, little delivery jobs, that kind of thing is what she has. However, you have a message on your data pad directly for you. And the message is simple. It says, Siam, I've got a job for you. Meet me at the Broken Bottle, which is a bar not too far down from you, in 3 hours. And you got that message maybe just a few minutes ago. And it just leaves with that. And it just says that she has a job for you.
Okay.
Now, I imagine Siam, for the most part, would find that interesting. I assume, would Siam be hesitant to go to this bar to meet this woman that she's worked with a few times in the past?
Siam is at... I'm going to say Siam, not Siam. Just Siam. With
Siam. I apologize.
You're fine. So Siam is the type of person who has very few people he will trust, especially right now. So if he's worked with this lady before and she seems legit, then he's going to keep that normal bit of like hesitance in his mind. But if he's worked with her before and if he's gone out on a limb out for her already and it's worked out a couple of times, I think he's going to be willing to go, albeit he'll go prepared. So he's going to bring his blaster. He's going to bring the stuff with him that he needs, but he's definitely going to go see her. The fact that it says urgent probably has him a little bit more on edge than usual. But if he's had dealings with her before, he wouldn't have if she was a part of something else, most likely, unless something's changed. So he's going to have those things in mind that, she's trustworthy unless something is threatening her and this is a setup of some kind.
Mm-hmm. Well, in this on this planet specifically, it's never a bad idea to keep your blaster on you regardless if you're going outside. No. So bringing your blaster is...
It's like wearing shoes.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only way you're going to at least get home safely, usually. So... with that in mind, then we'll say Siam definitely decides. You said Siam, right? Siam. I will.
Siam.
I will. Siam. I will
like
remember.
AHM almost.
Yeah.
Siam.
I'll get it. Don't worry. So sure, you're gonna head off to that bar to meet her. Now, do you want to arrive right on time? Are you looking to arrive early, late? It's up to you. How punctual would you like to be?
See, I would say he leaves right away, and he wants to take a moment to kind of scout out and see if he recognizes anybody else around before he goes in.
Absolutely. Okay, so plan is to get there to the actual cantina a little early and kind of maybe just hang out and
see if there's anybody hanging out outside or inside that maybe Siam doesn't want to run into.
Absolutely. That's fine. So we'll say you get there early and we'll have you roll your very first roll right now. So if you want to pop up into the skills tab for me.
All right.
Please do make me a perception roll, good sir.
All right. Guys, this is my first ever roll, like legit roll in D&D. I'm so excited.
Here we go. It's going to be good.
Let me fail it. All right. So just click the dice button.
Sir, hit the dice all the way to the right-hand side. Yep.
All right, here we go. Boom.
Success with a disadvantage.
Yes.
So you have a choice. Do you want to take that disadvantage as strain, or do you want to just kind of let it into the ether and let story dictated?
I'll take a strain right now, I think.
So go ahead and put that up in your current strain thresh, but you succeeded.
Got it.
So you're kind of leaning up. My imagination show. How does your character do it? Does he lean up against a wall, like across the street? How is he keeping an eye on things?
He's gonna try to keep it casual. He's gonna have his data pad out, like he's busy doing something. He's gonna look like he's looking at his data pad, and he's kind of stressed out. The urgent thing really bothered him. I think that's where the strain comes from. Is the fact that she wants to see him urgently, and rather than kind of letting him do it at his convenience.
Mm-hmm.
So he feels like something's wrong. So he's gonna look at his data pad, but actually be looking around, kind of walk over there, walk inside, maybe walk back out.
Sure. So you're kind of keeping an eye on things, seeing who's coming in and outside. You want to head inside, and there's a bouncer that stands in front of the cantina. He's a large Deveronian man. Deveronians are like the devil aliens. They have like the red skin and the horns. This guy is kind of clad in a leather jacket, no t-shirt underneath, and kind of ripped up pants. You've been to this bar many, many times, and this particular Deveronian knows you, and when you kind of approach, he just smiles and nods and just steps aside to let you in. No real complications with him whatsoever. You head inside, and this bar itself is rather busy. The bar itself is lined with people, mostly humans, but there's a mix of alien races there, and the tables are almost all full. Spare for one that you notice is in the back corner, that seems to be rather empty, almost suspiciously empty for how many people are still here, and there's a few standing around. The fact that there is a table in the back hand corner that is empty definitely raises I don't want to say a red flag, but you definitely take note.
Okay.
As you're looking around and seeing if there's anybody suspicious, at least at the moment, you don't necessarily see anybody that is suspicious. Nobody catches your eye, but you also don't see the girl you're supposed to meet here, at least not yet. And it could be that she's just not here yet. Do you want to stay inside the cantina, or do you want to wait outside and wait for her to show up and then you make your way in after her?
I think I'm going to stay inside.
Okay.
And I think maybe I'll go up to the bar and buy a drink and just chit chat with the bartender or something while I'm waiting.
Absolutely. So make some small chat with the
Yeah.
bartender. It's a human bartender, human female. She is a rather good looking girl. And just make small talk with you for the most part, but because of how busy it is at this particular point in time, her small chat is quick. Very quick answers to your questions if you're asking her like how her day was, but she seems rather taken with how busy this place is for the most part.
I want to make a comment. So I want to know about that table. I want to say like, surprised no one's sitting there, just to see if I can subtly get any information.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be yeah, you know what? Make me it's not going to be that hard of information to get, so let me fix up my dice pool. But go ahead and make a charm check. You're just doing it friendly, right? You're trying to ask her nicely, butter her up, and then ask the question. Yeah. So yeah, make a charm roll for me, please.
In fact, I'm willing to even spend like I'll give her a tip of like 5 credits or something, like for the drink.
Ooh, okay. Well. I'm gonna throw for throwing 5 credits on the table to really kind of smooth some information out of her. I'll give you a blue dice on top of that. So cool. you may make your roll.
Take away those credits, so just don't let me forget that.
Sure. You can do it as soon as you make the roll.
Okay, so rolling charm.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Success with 2 advantages, so you absolutely knocked it out of the park. So you kind of plop the 5 credits on the table, maybe paying your bill and give her a little extra something, and your words exactly are what?
I'm being real friendly, like understand the bar's really busy. I'm like, man, it's been a long day. I'm surprised that there's an open table here among all the chaos. It seems like you guys are crazy busy right now. Hopefully everyone's treating you well.
She actually, as you say that, and she's reaching for the credits and stuff, she smiles when she sees a little bit of extra something there for her. She's like, yeah, you ain't kidding. This place is busier than I've seen it in a long while. Not that I'm complaining. Business is good, and I could always use the credits. But, boss said I had to keep that table free. He didn't give me too much details, but the table's not to be taken. Could be a business deal, something that he needs. But if you're thinking about sitting there, don't.
Oh, no, I understand. When the boss calls, I get it.
Yeah, and I need this job. And her smile when she says that kind of goes from a happy look to a notably stressed look on her face.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's like,
but let her be. I'm gonna take my drink. I don't want to press. I don't want to be obvious that I'm curious. I'm just gonna take that and for what it is.
Sure. So do you just kind of hang at the bar then while you wait?
I'm just gonna sit there and sip on my drink and keep an open eye around me.
Almost exactly on the dot when she asks you to meet, the doors open and you see the woman that you've worked with a few times in the past. The thing that sticks out about this woman is that while most of Nar Shaddaa is ramshackle, people wearing kind of run-down clothing, they smell like they haven't bathed in forever. They're very people of the earth in a lot of ways. This woman is clean, almost imperial clean, if that makes sense. A lot of imperial officers, for instance, always, no matter where they are in perfectly clean clothing. She's not wearing an imperial uniform in any way, but she has her hair in a bun. She's got those half moon glasses. She's very young, probably in her early to mid 20s, human, and she wears a business kind of a business dress that you would see in Star Wars, where it's very form-fitting and it runs all the way down to her ankles, has a collar here, but kind of cuts here and runs just enough to tantalize what could be cleavage, but never truly shows off any. There are no
Okay.
markings on her clothing whatsoever, no symbols to give away where her clothing comes from or who she may work with. And as she walks in, she doesn't even look up from her data pad. She merely has her data pad out in front of her, and she seems to be enraptured with whatever she's reading. Her shoes are heels, and they click rather audibly amongst the loud noises in this bar, kind of piercing all the murmuring happening. A few people kind of turn their eye and kind of watch her walk by. She does stand out amongst the crowd, but as she walks by you, she lifts her eyes from her data pad, locks eyes with you, nods, and in an almost knowing way, and then looks back down to the data pad and walks by you.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for her to get to where she's going and kind of follow.
Sure. She makes her way with purpose to the empty table.
Okay.
She pulls up sits in the empty table, pulls up a chair. There are 3 chairs there. She pulls up a chair for herself, sits down, crosses her legs, puts the data pad on the table, and continues reading.
Okay, I'm gonna sit down across from her and just not say a word. Wait for
Sure.
her to start the conversation.
There's silence for what feels like forever. Your tensions are running high. Like you said, you're a little nervous. You're not quite sure why it's so urgent.
Yeah.
But maybe a minute passes before she takes her glasses off and kind of puts them in her collar, places the data pad down gently and folds her fingers in front of her, and looks you directly in the eye. And she's like, "Siam, I'm glad you could make it."
Siam nods and approves and said, "Of course. You said it was urgent, which is unusual, so."
Well, you've come to me for jobs in the past, and you've always done them with a quick turnaround. And I feel like we need to have a conversation about this next one. Something that could potentially help out a great deal for you and your mother. Now,
All right, this draws Siam's interest a lot whenever his mother is mentioned, because that's not something that normally they speak about.
I imagine you maybe never even mentioned your mother to her.
Yeah, that seems more likely than not that Siam wouldn't even say anything, especially if he doesn't even know her name.
Yeah. So she, when she says her mother, she just the faintest hint at his smirk crawls across her lips.
I don't know if he can contain his surprise, but I think he would do his best not to
If
show
you'd
anything.
like to try to contain your surprise, you may make a discipline check to do so.
Yeah, I think he'd like to maintain that nothing surprises him at this point, even though that would.
We'll say because you were so not expecting it, this will be a rather difficult thing for you to maintain.
Okay, sure.
So it'll be 3 purple dice. But you are welcome to make that roll.
That's a discipline.
Discipline.
All right.
Failure. That's just a
All right.
failure. So you are
Okay.
unable to maintain your surprise. Is it just kind of an eyes widened sort of thing?
It's kind of a double take, like an eyes widen and like head turn almost, where as much as he would have liked to hold that in,
yeah, of
and
course.
that's something. His mom is so dear to him and his family and their values that whenever she's brought up, it's like an immediate threat almost.
So she this minor little grin kind of maintains for a while, and she kind of taps her pad, unfolding her fingers with just a little click of her nail tapping the glass surface of the data pad. She's like, "I know you weren't expecting it, but look at me.
He's just gonna calmly reply like, "I see you've done your research," and continue to sip on his drink and listen.
That's my job, Siam. My job is to know things." She gestures around at the crowd of people, but in the bar itself. She's like, "I don't really fit in. I'm more professional. I'm better at my job than these people are at theirs." Now, I don't want you to say that is a threat. I'm not threatening your family. I wouldn't go so far, nor be so bold to do so. But I do want to make it clear how this could benefit you. Still have interest.
I would have no choice but to have interest at this point.
Well, I don't want you to think that if you say no, something terrible would happen. That's just not how I...
Well, as you've said, we've had fair dealings in the past, and despite the fact you know more than I initially thought, I have no reason to believe that this would not be another fair dealing.
Good. All right, well, that out of the way. I know you're not a friend of what was once the Empire. Perhaps what is still the Empire.
He takes a larger sip at that.
Mm-hmm. And I think that could go pretty much for almost everyone in here. You see, the thing about losing a war is that there are people who are going to jump ship. People who are going to leave a crashing starship and make way for themselves, hide amongst the rabble. My boss has interest in one of them. And it's just so happens that particular person has found himself on Nar Shaddaa. Now, I'm not looking for an assassination attempt. I don't need you to put a bullet in his head. I just need you to make contact with this man. I need you to find him. I need you to see... Well, let's just say I wouldn't hate if you were able to take him into custody, but if you can at least find him and get some information out of him, I would be much obliged.
Do you want me to bring him someplace alive or interrogate him?
That's the glorious thing about my boss. He's very open. Here's what he needs. The man has a data pad. On that data pad has some very important information. Information my boss is willing to pay a great amount of money for. Now, my boss would also love to get his hands on the man himself, but he has made it very clear that the information on that pad is priority. However you get it, whether he gives it to you, whether you take it from him forcibly, whether you take him himself and bring him to my boss, that is up to you. I am telling you, however, that my boss is willing to pay a pretty hefty sum. 1,000 credits.
For
the
either way?
If you can bring him alive, he's willing to pay double.
Okay.
The information itself is worth 1,000 credits, however. We know which building he is in. However, if we go in there marching with our men, looking for him and knocking down every apartment door, then we're going to cause a problem.
How much information do you have about this guy?
He's a human male. Then she shrugs.
Don't know a name?
We have an alias. We don't know if that's his real name. All that information will be transferred to you to your data pad if you accept. I'm not willing to hand out much more than that until you've accepted.
We've had fair dealings in the past. This sounds like it could be a bit of an attention getter, but that's a lot of money, so I accept.
Good. And she immediately puts her glasses, takes them off, snaps them, puts them back on, and then picks up her data pad and immediately starts getting to work. Within a few seconds, your data pad, you can feel, or you can see the glow of it lighting up inside your jacket, kind of hit your shirt. And she looks up, she's like, contract has been sent your way. Once you've made your signature, we can start talking details.
All right, so I pull out my data pad and sign it.
Sure, and you send it back to her, and she goes it over, make sure your signature is there. She's like, great, then we have a deal. All we know is this man has been going by an alias. The alias of Dynamite. She kind of shrugs. She's like, it's silly, it's a dumb name, and I'm sure there's a reason for it, but for whatever that reason is, we don't know. We don't know his real name, we don't know where in this particular 23-story building he resides. That's where you're going to have to figure out yourself. Talk to whoever you know, talk to whatever contacts you have, and figure out what you can about this guy. My other concern is that if he ever discovers that you're coming after him, he's going to run.
Okay.
He ran from the Empire. Once they lost the war, whatever information we have on him shows that he pretty much went AWOL within months of the Emperor dying. Don't really care about his past deeds. All we care about is the information he has on that data pad. And the information he has is on a prototype starship.
What do we know about the building that he's in?
It's a slum, and it's operated by a slum lord. She shrugs, like, slum lords are come and go, as far as I know. If you can figure out who the slum lord is, and you can have a conversation with him, I'm sure it's nothing, a little coercion wouldn't necessarily loosen up his lips. But if you need to go in and if you have any contacts within the building itself, or you know nobody within the building itself, feel free. Do what you need to do, is what I'm saying, as long as you get us results. If he runs, if he escapes, you return to us and you let us know, and we'll make the appropriate maneuvers to chase. And our contract will be null and void, you will not get paid, and the job will be considered finished.
All right. Siam just nods, stands up, and goes to leave.
She, if you just go stand up and head to leave, she actually doesn't say anything. She lets you just walk away, if that's what you choose to do.
Yep.
Okay. So you head out of the bar itself completely, I'm assuming. What is Siam going to do from this point? If you look at your data pad and see what information she gives you, there is like an address of this building you're looking for as to where he lives. But what is Siam's first thing that he'd like to do?
So with the data pad, Siam wants to look into this alias and see what comes up. What can we find out about Dynamite?
So you want to do like a HoloNet search or
just he wants to find out anything that he can about this person.
Okay.
What allegiances they might have if they're sympathetic to somebody. Maybe he can pretend to be somebody good to help them out, or if he can find a way close to this person. If he doesn't have to knock them out and drag them, if he can convince them to walk into a trap on their own, all the better. Anything he can use to manipulate this person is what he wants to find.
Okay, so you want to spend some time doing a little research and seeing if in the depths of the HoloNet anything named Dynamite ends up popping up. Okay, cool. So let's make a roll for that.
Sure.
Let's see. That'll be a computers check. I'm trying to think if there's no real research roll. It's going to be more or less you spending time doing research. I would say knowledge underworld, maybe.
I was going to use that as well to look up stuff about the slumlord to find out who the slumlord
is. Yeah, that'll probably be better for slumlord. So why don't we make a computers check? Okay. It's going to be a relatively difficult roll, and you're not necessarily practiced in that. But Who knows? You could roll really well. So feel free to make a computers check when you are ready.
All right, let's do it.
Wow. Oh wait, you have a blue dice in there, but that's still you still rolled a success even without that blue dice.
Okay.
Where'd that blue dice come from? Oh, that was my fault.
From the tip.
Yep. You're good.
I also need to take out those credits real quick before I forget.
Yep, go ahead. Feel free.
That is on the character info tab, right?
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Perfect. Cool. So you roll some successes. So we'll say basically Siam heads back to his apartment and spends a good few hours at the least pouring through any and all information he can within the Imperial Network. See, the great thing about your history is that you know the Imperial Network pretty well from your family ties and the like. Eventually you do come across something related to a person who calls himself Dynamite. Very little information, a lot of it is redacted, and most of it has been erased completely. However, what you can tell and what information you have is that this guy worked in starship design, specifically within the ballistics research branch, more or less. What that means to you is that he probably worked on arming TIE fighters, TIE bombers, that kind of thing. But as to who he was and what his rank specifically was, you're not entirely sure. And there's no actual name associated with Dynamite. It's almost as if all information on him and who he was scrubbed clean, with the exception of a little bit here and there due to it maybe being a rush job. Everything about this screams rush job wiping clean. And Siam could probably figure out that means that when he jumped ship, he probably tried to wipe out as much information about himself within the database as he could.
Okay. All right. So he's, from like what Siam can gather, this is a guy that doesn't want to be found by anybody right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to be very tricky with how I try to, if I get a chance to talk to him, I'm going to be very careful with what I say because I do not want to spook him.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And then if I can look a little bit into the slumlord.
Sure. That is just going to be a pretty easy knowledge roll for you. You've been here for a while. So you're welcome to make a knowledge underworld check when you're ready. Okay. Go for it.
Well, didn't get that one.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
You ask around the people you know, hitting people up on the streets, maybe in the area. But for most part, most people shrug or completely ignore you. In worst case scenario, they swear at you and tell them to mind your own business. There's not much you can really gather from that.
Well, all right. I guess I'm going to head over toward the building and look for people nearby that might be worth talking to.
Absolutely. So, like I said before, the streets are packed. There's tons and tons of people around. And as you approach the building, there's people entering and exiting the building almost like it's a revolving door. This is a 23-story building. This is huge. And as to what floor you're looking for, you're not even entirely sure. When you walk in, there's kind of I hesitate to call it a lobby. It's more of a common room with a ton of people clearly doing things that if there was any sort of law enforcement around, would probably get in trouble for. However, most people ignore you and are kind of going about their daily business. As far as what species are dominant here, much like the bar, it's mostly humans. When you walk in, what are you looking to just kind of discuss and talk to people, or are you looking for somebody specific, or just kind of looking to gather information?
Well, first, I want to look around and see if the guy that was in, if this guy I'm looking for is anywhere in the lobby. I want to make sure he's not present right now.
Sure, sure. So actually, go ahead and make me a perception check, please. Let me just change that to there. All right, go right ahead.
And boom.
Triumph. You rolled a triumph. Hot damn. Congratulations on the triumph. So here's the thing, right?
Yes.
The person that you're looking for, you're not entirely sure what he looks like. However, I'm trying to work how I'm going to work this triumph. You've rolled a triumph on your first perception. That's crazy.
Technically my second perception. But yeah.
That's true. It is your second perception check. Okay. No, I know how this is going to work. So you walk in and you're looking around. Anybody catches your eye. You're looking for any sort of person that either looks sketchy and whatnot. And the thing is, everybody here looks sketchy. However, there is one person in the corner that you can see that seems to be minding his own business. He's alone, and he's probably one of the only ones in this area alone. And he's looking through his data pad at this point. A data pad at this point. Whether it's his or not, is you don't know. But you do see him mouthing things. It's almost like he's having a very subtle conversation with himself. And it does strike you a little odd, because it's not one of those kind of drugged out conversations where someone is tweaking and scratching and talking to themselves. The person in the corner, who is rather plainly dressed, seems to be having a very calm conversation with nobody. And that's the one thing that kind of catches your eye, is that in this crack den of crazy people, there seems to be one person in the back who seems to be minding his own business, but having a conversation of some sort. You can't hear it. It's too loud, but you see it.
Okay. So my assumption is that he has some kind of comm link, or he's talking to somebody somehow, but he's trying to pass it off as if he's just among the common rabble.
Correct.
So he could be working with this guy and kind of like a lookout, or he could be like researching for this guy, or he could be an enemy of this guy. I don't really know anything from just looking at him.
That's true. You do not.
Okay. I don't know if that information helps me or makes it more complicated, because my original idea when I walked in here isn't going to play out with this person in here who clearly isn't just among the common rabble. So.
Choices.
Here's where I wish I had other party members with here to help make this decision.
He doesn't seem to ever look up from his data pad, however. He never seems to make eye contact with you. He doesn't even seem to be paying attention to the people in front of him. He very much is just in his own world.
Okay. And everyone else here is kind of drugged out and just doing their own thing.
Yeah, everybody here seems to be either drugged out or having their own conversation or leaving or coming. It's just kind of a busy little area.
Okay, well, we're gonna go all out here. We're gonna make this interesting. Siam is gonna do his best to casually make his way over there.
Sure.
He wants to sit down and kind of hold his blaster aimed at this guy without the guy being able to kind of see what's happening.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. So do you want so you want to make your way over, and do you want to like sit directly across from him, more or less?
Almost, if there's a way to sit next to him, almost, to where I could just like sit by him, kind of have the blaster tucked maybe into my coat or something, just aimed over there, so that I can start to make conversation and just see how the guy reacts.
Okay. Do you want it to be known that you're holding a blaster? Like, do you want him to know?
Not until I get to speak.
All right. Perfect. Why don't we, when you head over there, so you meander your way over, and again, for the most part, he does not pay attention.
This guy doesn't look like he's well equipped or well armed or
armed. No, he doesn't. on his person, just blatantly looking at him. He does not seem to be armed whatsoever.
Okay.
He's sitting in a chair, but you can lean up against the wall kind of directly next to him. Please go ahead and make me a deception check.
Sure. Well, I think I'm good at that.
Yes, you are. Please make me a deception check when you
Sure.
lean up against the wall to make it look almost like you're nonchalantly there without holding a gun.
All right, here we go.
Woo! So you rolled a bunch of advantages as a thing. So while you fail, what ends up happening is that while you lean up against the wall, instantly he looks up from his data pad. He stopped talking. He looks up from his data pad to you, but he doesn't seem to notice that you're holding a pistol. However, he takes note of you instantly. His data, as you lean up against the wall, it's before your back even touches the wall behind you. You see his thumb flick the data pad, and the data pad goes dark. He stops talking, and he merely looks up from the corner to you, and just kind of locks eyes with you momentarily. He doesn't say anything to you. Do you say something to him?
Sure. I'm not as well equipped with a weapon. What's like a really powerful blaster pistol, like one that you don't want to mess with? I don't want to tell him what I've got. I want to bluff here a little bit.
Okay. I mean,
what's something that you like? If that's aimed at you, you're gonna like.
I mean, a blaster pistol is like, because there's this holdout, there's light, and then there's blaster pistol. So blaster pistol is technically.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with this. I don't know if I'm your enemy. There's a blaster aimed at your head right now. I need to know who you work for.
Interesting. Do you want to intimidate him? Is that what you're looking to do here?
Yeah, right away.
So that will be.
I want him to think like. I want him to think I could be on his side, but I'm making sure before I give him any more information.
That is going to be a coercion check. Make that roll.
All right. And I don't think I put any points into coercion, so.
No, you're.
All right. Can we fail a third time in a row?
Wait. Before you make that roll, you're bluffing about the pistol. No, you got a blast. No, go ahead. Coercion.
I actually have a blaster aimed at him.
Yeah, go ahead. Coercion. You're good. I'm watching.
Another failure.
All right.
With advantage.
Again, with advantage. So we'll work that. I'll work that. So again, your words were repeat them for me. You said you got a blaster pistol aimed at your head.
I said basically, I need to know who you work for. I have a blaster pistol aimed at your head. Be careful what your next move is.
He leans back into his chair. His hand still clearly in view, but he kind of just leans back a bit and turns his head to you, and he's like, "This is Nar Shaddaa, kid. There's a blaster pointed at me at any moment, at any given time, on any given day. I'm not particularly threatened by that. What do you want?"
I need to know if we're friends or enemies.
Well, it depends on who you think you're talking to. Do you just walk into lobbies and threaten the first person you see?
No, but when I walk into a lobby full of addicts and there's a man very clearly with an agenda hiding amongst the rabble, it stands out a bit to me.
Are you telling me that you're also rather addicted to a drug and you want money?
No, I just also have an agenda.
Well, aggressive Bothan, what's your agenda?
I feel like I'm giving all the information right now, which for the man with a pistol pointed at the other person is kind of silly.
Listen, you fire a shot at me and I die on the spot. Tell me then what your next move is.
Well, your data pad would probably be pretty helpful.
And you think that if that data pad has anything useful on it, that if you access it, the information won't instantaneously be wiped from it?
There are ways.
There are. The question is, do you know those ways?
I know people that know those ways.
Everybody can
I'm
know
well connected here on Nar Shaddaa. I've been here a long time.
Really well connected? I don't think I recognize you. How well connected could you really be?
Well connected enough to not be recognized. We can go in circles all day. I'm here, hopefully, as a friend.
All right. Ask. What do you want to know?
The information you have on that pad. I don't necessarily need the information you have. That's fine. But there's a person here of vital importance. And there are people after this person. I have an interest in making sure that those people don't get their hands on this man.
Am I allowed the luxury of knowing who this man is?
I think it's time I get a little bit more information from you.
Well, it just so happens I'm also looking for somebody in this building.
Okay.
I'm looking for a man. And the people I am in connection with also have great interest in it. Who is this man?
Well, from what I know, this man has pissed some people off.
He certainly has.
He's pissed more than one group off.
If we're talking about the same person, yes.
Which is likely, I think, given the rest of the people around.
Everybody on Nar Shaddaa is wanted for something. The odds of us wanting the same person are low. However, there are ears everywhere. Should we go discuss this somewhere more quiet?
Well, present company doesn't seem too knowledgeable at the moment, so I think we're okay right here. No offense, friend, but you might lead me right into an ambush.
You're too trusting of the rabble of this planet. Regardless, if that's how you want it, then that's how we'll have it. You are the man with the pistol pointed at my head, as you've made clear a few times.
So at this point, just to step aside, I think Siam is thinking that this guy is working with the Imperials, trying to hunt this man, and is definitely going to get in his way of trying to get to him.
Okay.
So that is how Siam
that's
is
where he's
right
perceiving
now.
it. Okay, no problem. So the man continues to kind of keep his calm demeanor. He doesn't seem to break. He doesn't seem to be too afraid, even though he's very much kind of letting you, since you have the pistol pointed at him and he's very much going with the flow, he doesn't seem worried. He seems very cool, calm, and collected.
I think at this point, Siam's going to try to disengage. So I think I'm going to lie here and describe a different person than who I'm actually looking for. And I'm just going to come out and say it, but it's going to be a complete lie.
Okay.
In hopes that this guy is looking for, if it's the human, then I'm just going to say my mistake. Have a good day.
Okay. So you're welcome to make a lie. Go right ahead.
Okay. So, man, I'm looking for is a Rhodian. Just come out and say it. If that's who you're looking for as well, then perhaps we should keep talking. If not, then I'll be on my way.
All right. Make your roll.
All right. What am I rolling here?
Deception.
Okay. All right. Deception. Don't fail me twice.
Success.
All right.
Good job. As you say the words Rhodian, it's almost as though his demeanor loosens. The muscles in his shoulders relax just a tiny bit. And he nods. He's like, well, the man I'm looking for is a human. Seems we're not looking for the same man after all. I know nothing of a Rhodian here.
Have a nice day, friend. And I go ahead and I put my pistol away and walk on.
He nods and kind of waves half-heartedly at you as you walk away.
Okay.
What is your plan now?
Totally, my goal there was completely play that off as I was just some thug trying to find information, and hopefully, since I succeeded that role, he's not suspicious.
Yep, you succeeded in lying, and he seems to have bought it.
So I think Siam needs to find somebody to talk to find out where this guy is. I'm not going to go knocking door to door. Is there like an office or a reception? I know this is not a great place, but is there someone that works here that he could talk to?
There is someone you could probably stumble across, given enough time and enough chatting, more or less.
Okay, I think what Siam's going to do is maybe go up a floor or two and look for like a cleaning service, someone
a maintenance office or something. Yeah,
something.
Doesn't take you long. You go up to the first floor, and there's a maintenance door there. If you can easily walk into it, and there's a few people just kind of gathered around a table, hanging out, playing cards and drinking. Not particularly doing much maintenance, but they are wearing a kind like a jumper, like they're all wearing like a jumpsuit that indicates engineering or maintenance throughout the building. As you open the door, and they all kind of look up at you, and then kind of shrug, and then go back to playing cards and drinking.
Okay. I'm going to walk right up to the table, very calmly and assertively, and just say, I have credits for whichever one of you can point me in the direction of a specific individual.
One looks up. What are you looking for? Takes a swig.
All right. I want to bring up a picture. Nothing else about this guy, just a picture of the guy I'm looking for.
So you bring up a picture of this guy, and they all look at him and like, huh. Most of them kind of shake their head, but one waggles his fingers. He's like, he's new here. Just moved in not too long ago. Hell if I know his name. I've just seen him move in and out. Sticks out a little bit. A little too prim and proper.
Where can I find this man?
I think he's on the 14th floor. I don't know what room, what building he's in, but I'm pretty sure it's the 14th floor.
Is there any way out of his room other than the door?
Window. Wouldn't be the first time somebody used those.
14 floors up. Is there an escape? Is it just a drop?
It's just a drop. It's just a drop.
All right. Can you lead me to his room?
Oh, I don't know what room he's in. No idea. Just know 14th floor.
I've got extra credits if you can help me figure out which room he's in.
Well, if you say it like that. He gets up, pounds the rest of his drink, and puts it on the table. It's like, yeah, you can follow me.
All right, so I follow behind.
Yeah. So he makes his way over to an elevator and jumps in, kind of ushers you in, and immediately heads to the 14th floor. On the elevator ride, he's like, how much money, by the way?
What do you think a fair amount is for the information you've given me?
Well, I guess it depends on how important this man is to you. How's 15 credits sound?
About 10, and I let you walk out.
You threatening me?
I just stare.
Yeah, 10 credits is fine. That's good. No problem. All right. Oh, hey, the elevator's here. And then, like, ding, the door's open. He hurries and scampers out. And these floors are rather small. The building is very tall, but the floors themselves are small. Maybe about 5 apartments per. And I mean small in terms of Star Wars small. He kind of walks down the hall and he's like, and there's no numbers or anything on the doors themselves. Maybe a few have one hanging or blinking on the door, but for the most part, there's no real indication as to what apartment is what. And then he stops short of the second one to the final one at the end of the hall, and he kind of he waggles his finger. And he's like, yeah, I think it's this one.
Do you have a key to this room?
No. You don't need a key.
And
he like
doors.
Yeah, he's like, you don't need a key. And he turns and while you're walking to the door, he's like, hey, money.
All right, I give him the 10 credits.
Thank you.
I tell him to disappear.
Yeah, no problem. Whatever. And he turns and he walks away. So this door sits in front of you. Shut. There's a little pad next to the door itself, usually for door controls. What do you plan on doing from this point on?
All right, so I need to win this guy's trust. So I think Siam is going to try to fluster himself a little bit, and he's going to completely play. He's going to play up to gain this guy's confidence, gain this guy's trust.
Okay.
So he's going to be very blunt. He's going to knock. I'm going to knock on the door.
Okay. So you knock on the door. Time goes by. Doesn't seem to be a response. It's very, very quiet.
Okay. I'm just going to say, Dynamite, this is a friend. People are here for you. We need to go.
A few more moments of silence passes before you hear a muffled voice on the other side of the door. And how can I trust you?
I could easily have opened this door and burst in if I wanted to. There's a man downstairs who knows you are here. They are coming for you. Choose not to trust me if you'd like, but I may be your only way out of here.
You have to make me a charm roll, please.
Great. I've been so good at these so far.
It's going to be rather difficult. And you know what? For fun, I'll use a dark side point to make it even more difficult for you to convince this guy.
Okay.
You may make your roll.
Woof.
Yeah. When you say that, after a few more moments go by, he's like, I can handle myself. Thanks for the warning. Get out of here.
Okay. I'm going to try to burst into the room.
Sure. So there's a pad next to your door, and next to the door. You go to press the button, and it goes like red light, locked. And you hear from the other side, it's like, no, Mr. quote unquote friend, you can go now.
I don't have time for this. Either let me in and work with me, or I'm gonna have to bust in there and get you out of here another way.
You hear, after saying that, you hear, he doesn't say anything in response, and you can hear some scrambling happen on the inside. You don't know what's going on, but you hear some scrambling.
Is this the kind of door I can kick in? Do I need to shoot the data pad?
You
to
would
get
shoot
in?
the data pad, basically. Yeah.
I'm shooting the data pad and I'm going in.
Okay. So you pull your light blaster pistol and just kind of point blank it up against the pad.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger. That quintessential blaster noise comes across the entire hallway very loudly, and sparks fly and smoke swirls from the pad as after a few seconds, the door opens up.
Okay, I just go in there and I want to look as non-threatening as possible. I want this guy to think that I'm actually meaning it.
Okay.
So I walk in there. I don't aim the gun at him. I just say, "We need to go now. Enough messing around."
So before you can get those words out, as the door opens and you're standing in front, the scene in front of you is chaos. It is a metallic table pushed up against the wall with wires and electronics skewed everywhere. Multiple data pads wired up to things and hanging on the wall, some of them hanging off the wall, off the table itself. There's bits and pieces of things laying on the floor. There doesn't seem to be any bed anywhere in this tiny one-room apartment. Everything seems to be filled with gadgets and gizmos of some sort, and in the middle of it all stands a haggard man with a wiry beard and a completely shaven head. He looks dirty and like he hasn't bathed in forever. Bags under his eyes so pronounced that you can see them from this far away. His clothing is tattered and run down and dirty, and before you open your mouth and say a word, a blaster bolt comes flying out of the pistol he's holding in his hands and goes whizzing by your shoulder, hitting the wall, leaving a scorching mark just mere foot behind you. And he shouts, "I warned you!" We'll go to combat after our quick break. We'll come back in just a couple of minutes, everybody, and we'll see the end of this particular session 1. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Also, thanks Silencio Steve for just like literally throwing out 13 gift subs on this channel, all told.
Yeah.
Dude is crazy. Thank you, dude. We appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
Okay. I didn't get a bottle of water. I got chocolate milk.
It's a good call. I wish I had some of that.
Because I'm a child, more or less. Okay. So we're going to go into combat. So as you were asking off while we weren't live, you said, is there any point in talking? Yes, you can always talk and try and talk your way out of a conversation or attack your way out of combat. But for now, do me a favor and go to your combat tab.
Okay.
And I need you to roll your cool, I believe.
Okay. I thought cool was the one that prepared. It's the vigilance.
It depends. Did you? I was trying to be like, if you heard like stuff on the other side of the door, that was like me being like, oh, he might be scrambling for something. But roll your vigilance.
You know, I mean, I expected him to definitely have a weapon on him, so I think I would be prepared for him to have a weapon on me. So
Yeah,
just
sure.
for fairness, I'll give myself a disadvantage by being prepared.
No, that's actually kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
2 and
So,
2. Trash.
I will roll that. Am I ready to roll now?
You are good to roll. Go right ahead.
There we go.
All right. Do you have the turn order out? Can you see the turn order or no?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, cool. As long as that's there. He's actually gonna.
I don't know how to read it, but
Don't worry. So the number on the left is how many successes you rolled, and the number on the right is how many advantages you rolled. The top one is actually the NPC. I don't know why it's coming across as PC. So he goes first, and then you go second, and it'll go back and forth, back and forth. All
okay.
right.
Does his shot at me right now count as a turn?
No, that was kind of like the initiation of like combat.
Gotcha.
Fires it, go into combat, and there you go. So with that in mind, he's actually going to go ahead and actually shout at you while you're standing there. Again, like I said, taking a shot, scorch mark on the back of the wall, little smoke wisping from his holdout blaster that he's holding. He's not holding anything amazing, and he's like, "I warned you. I warned you to not come in here." And he takes another shot at you.
Okay.
Where is? I need to open up this right here. Perfect. Oh, really? That's what that is? This actually has to go down. Blaster, pistol. This is all messed up. I'll do that.
You can give him a squirt gun if you want.
I mean, you know, ideally, that would be better for you.
That'd be really nice.
Blaster pistols do that. All right, cool. Let's make a roll. Your defense is what, a 1?
I don't even know if I ever added anything there.
Heavy clothing. I don't think actually gives you defense. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna roll with a base difficulty of 2 against you. No problem.
Okay.
All right, he's gonna make his roll. He hits you once, so he just does his base damage of 4 against you. But you have a soak of 1, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
you're only going to take 3 damage. So feel free to throw that 3
wounds.
in your thing. So he fires another shot at you, this time not missing you, and basically just barely skimming your arm, leaving a nice burn mark on your patched up jacket and dealing just a bit of damage to you.
Okay.
And he shouts. Now it goes to you.
All right. Does it take an action to set my weapon to stun?
It would take like a maneuver action. He has 2 soak. Okay, so you take 1 less. On his character, it just says 1, Scott.
I've only got 1 soak unless I'm supposed to have a second one.
Oh, you the heavy clothing gives you +1 soak. So that heavy
so I've got
clothing
2
you bought
soaks,
will
I've
bring
got
you to 2.
2 wounds and 2 soak. Okay.
There you go.
All right. So can I use my free skill that I got to switch it to stun without using a move?
Let's check. I think it's just drawing and holstering specifically. But I
have it out because I used it to break in, so I don't need to draw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just says draw or holster a weapon or accessible item. Okay.
Yep. That's all it is. It's just drawing and the such.
Okay. So
it would basically take you your maneuver action to set it to stun, but you would still have your regular action to shoot him.
I'm gonna very stupidly here.
Okay.
Holster my weapon.
Ooh. Okay.
And look at him with a look of just anger and rage. And I'm going to say, "Are you finished? If you want to kill me, then kill me, but I'm your only friend here. I put my weapon away after you very blatantly shot me because I want to get you out of here alive. You're too important to let them get you back.
Curiously, are you staying when you holster your weapon? Do you stay in front of the door, or do you try and do you put yourself up against the wall around the corner so he can't see you, or do you stay in clear view of him?
I want to walk in and just look casual.
Okay, so you actually step into the apartment.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want
okay.
to make it as blatantly obvious as I can that I am a friend.
Okay, okay. So that is going to be under skills so you're telling him you wanted to get him away, trying to be a friend, but you also have nefarious deeds.
I'm deceiving him, right?
So it would be a deception check in my opinion.
I'm going to use the light side point to help me here too.
Okay. So go to your skills tab.
Okay.
And so your deception is going to be 2 yellow, 2 green. I'm going to plop in 1 upgrade for you. It'll take care of itself. All you need to do is make the roll.
All right. So am I ready to make it?
You are ready to make it.
Please let me get 1 deception check. 1.
Well, you got the upgrade because you got the 3 yellows instead of the 2. And you have advantages. So mechanically, what you can technically do with those is you can take those advantages that you have, and on your next attempt to either talk or shoot him or whatever you want to do, you can add one additional blue dice to your roll. So you roll those advantages over to a mechanical advantage on your next turn.
Okay.
If you'd like to do that, you're welcome to.
I mean, I don't know what else I can use them for, so I guess so.
You can let me narratively use it as well, and I can do what I want with it. For good for you, not bad. It's up to you.
Go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead. I'll leave the advantage to you there.
Okay. So he keeps his gun pointed at you, and it's very visibly shaking. He's very visibly trembling as he points it at you. And as you take a step forward, he in tandem takes a step back towards the wall behind him, and almost stumbles amongst the rabble and mechanical garbage laying at his feet, the clang of metal kind of shuffling around. And he's like, I'm warning you, don't come a step closer. I will not hesitate to kill you. I've killed before. I'll do it again. Just leave, man. Just go. Just go. But he does not take a shot.
Okay.
That'll be the advantage. We'll roll to your turn.
Okay. Can I try the same tactic one more time?
You are absolutely welcome to. You don't have a light side point anymore, however.
Correct.
And you will gain, however, a blue dice on this. What do you say to him now that he's taken a step back but keeps the gun pointed at you?
I'm going to look frustrated. I'm going to put my hand up like this motion, and I'm going to say, I understand your hesitance to trust me, but I am literally putting my life on the limb right now. You could shoot and kill me dead, but it's that important that I get you out of here alive and keep them from getting their hands back on you. If you can't understand that, then you're going to let them take you. That is your choice to make. But I am not holding a weapon. I am not a threat to you right now. If I was with them, you'd be dead already.
Before you roll, he actually will ask, and who is them? Who is after me? How do you know there's anybody after me? Who are you?
Okay. I want to reach into my coat and grab my data pad. Is that okay? I'll do it very slowly. You can see where my blaster is.
As long as that blaster's within sight, yes.
Okay. So Siam reaches into his pocket and he pulls out his data pad, and I'm going to pull open the file of him I've got.
Okay. And you just kind of hold it out in front?
The Imperials are here. They want you back. They want the knowledge you have. They are coming for you. It's my job to keep them from getting you.
When you say the word Imperials, his eyes notably widen. And he takes a tentative step forward, keeping his hold-out blaster squarely pointed at you, though still a little shaky, and with his free hand reaches out to take your data pad from you so he can read it. Do you allow him to?
Yeah, I'll allow him to read it.
He pulls it from you, takes another step back, and keeping his blaster pointed, starts looking at the information.
While he's looking at it, I'm going to say, you didn't cover your tracks as well as you thought. I wish you had. I wish I didn't have to be here for this. But we've got to get you out alive.
Now you may make your deception check.
Okay. All right, everybody out there, give me some flippin' luck. I have failed every deception check I have made.
The thing
and
he's
I've got
good at.
2 ranks in it. Boom!
You succeeded! Boom. Hey! He looks at the data pad after you, and as you're speaking to him and he's reading through it, he quickly like throws it to the ground and kicks it back towards you. Doesn't crack it, don't worry. And he keeps his pistol out, but actually lowers it in a non-aggressive stance. And he's like, "And where the hell are you gonna take me? Why do you care about me?"
They've got ears all over this building. I can't say much here. You're paranoid enough to know I can tell that it's wise to keep our information to a minimum. I will get you out of here, and we will get you away from the Imperials, and you can go hide wherever you'd like, but they cannot get their hands on you.
Can you please make me a perception check?
Yes. Ready?
Yes, absolutely. Go for it. 2 advantages. We can roll that over to your next roll. No problem.
Okay.
Actually, you can roll that over to make it a blue dice in your next roll, or you can give it to me. What would you prefer?
I'll just give it to you.
Okay.
I like the narrative.
Sure. You, as you're speaking to him and giving him kind of your quote-unquote plan as to how to keep him safe, you hear a very faint noise down the hall from where you came. You barely are able to audibly hear what sounds like the elevator opening.
Okay.
Doesn't mean anything necessarily. You don't hear voices or anything, but it's just something your character picks up on.
Okay.
He lowers his pistol a little further, still keeping it in his hand, and he's like, "And you're gonna take me where? Off planet?"
Hold on. Keep your blaster up. You don't have to aim it at me, but keep your blaster up. We may need it in just a moment. I'm going to get you to the people I work for, and they can take you somewhere else. It's not information I'm privy to. You're a little bit more important than I'm allowed to know where your location will be.
Okay.
It's important you keep your blaster ready. Focus.
He
may be coming right now.
He still holding onto his blaster. He rubs his temples and his eyes a bit, and then like when he stops, he darts around. He's like, "Do I have time to grab things that I need?"
Yes. Anything that's got the information you have on it, make sure you keep that close to you. Do not let them get their hands on it.
He starts immediately scrambling for things, data pads and the like. Can you make me another perception check? You're gonna roll
Yeah, I was
when
going
you're
to
ready.
say, while he's doing that, I would like to
look out the
go
window.
either listen or take a peek out the door.
What would you prefer to do? Listen or peek?
I'm going to listen this time.
Perception.
I want to see if I hear any footsteps, any talking, anything like that.
Yep, perception.
Woo!
Nothing that doesn't sound out of the ordinary. I mean, there's definitely a couple arguing a few apartments down, and you can hear chatter in the hallway of people kind of just that are out there, but nothing else.
Okay.
And we'll have that roll over to a blue dice on your next go. He takes some time until to gather his things before you actually do hear a voice maybe 2 feet away from you in the hallway. And you just
I let him get very close before I heard anything.
Oh, that's what, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Failure is failure.
You hear from behind you, around the corner, you hear the words, "Erodian, huh?"
All right. Is there anything I can get behind in this room for cover?
It's a mess. Not much. You can get
There's
behind
not
the
a
wall.
couch, there's no cover.
What you could do is kick the table, like pull the table over and like hide behind the table, knocking over everything on the table.
Okay.
But he has no furniture in this apartment whatsoever other than the table.
Awesome. Well, I guess I'll use what I've got. I'm going to flip the table over and get ready to fight.
Okay. So your immediate reaction is to just run over to the table and flip it and get behind it. Everything on the table just pours onto the ground. Things clatter everywhere. And the gentleman, Dynamite, kind of yelps and leaps behind the table with you.
Okay.
Before any fire, there's no shots, anything. A calm voice comes from outside the door. And he's like, listen. We can make this easy. I'm not here for you, Bothan. I just want the guy.
All right. What are you prepared to give for him?
Well, I can give you credits for him. I can let you walk away with your life. I think that might
It's
be
a trick question. He's not for sale. I suggest you move on.
That's not how we work. unfortunately for you. So I'll give you one more opportunity.
While this guy's talking, I want to look over to this guy and I want to say, is there another way out of here?
He looks over and with wide eyes shakes his head no.
Okay.
Well,
I want
other
to
than
draw
that,
my blaster. If I don't have it out already, I want to draw my blaster.
actually, he'll shake his head no, then shrug and like in a nervous way and gesture to the window.
14 stories high with no fire escape. Okay.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
All right. We'll prepare to fight, I think.
Sure. So a few calm moments later, after he's like, listen, I don't want to kill you. I don't need unnecessary blood on my hands, and I'm not looking to kill him either. He's a fugitive. Hand him over, and we can just go on our way. You don't want to be harboring a fugitive, do you?
On this planet, we're all fugitives. I'm afraid I can't do that.
All right. Well, I wish you luck, boys. And you hear the clacking of a few extra footsteps.
Sweet.
And we'll roll into initiative. So you may roll. Let's clear out the others.
Getting this asshole alive is the biggest pain in my ass.
Yes, it is. All right, let's go over here. And if prepared, this guy does not have a very good initiative, so let's hope you roll well. I'm going to roll
I wish I wasn't prepared. I'm better that way.
All right, you are welcome to make your initiative roll.
I can get advantage like nobody's business.
You do roll a lot of advantages. All right, let's go.
Can I use that to put a hole in the floor that they all fall through or something?
If only you had a lightsaber, right?
I do on my starship. I just got to get it.
You just got to get to the starship, right?
Yeah. God, my Star Destroyer. It's right there.
It's of course. All right. So we're gonna roll two.
Scotty, beam me up.
Let's go ahead and I'm gonna roll. Where is it? There. That's what I'm looking for. Oops. One too many.
If this asshole goes and gets himself killed right now, I'm gonna be so angry.
Combat. All right.
5 advantages make 1 triumph?
Roll.
Well, I only got 4, so it wouldn't matter. Oh, what is this bull crap? Look at your rolls.
Hey, look, I rolled really, really nicely. Is all that matters. All right. So the first roll, so it's gonna go one of the bad guys, you. Then it should go like this. There we go. Then it's gonna go the other bad guy, and then at the very, very end, it's gonna go Dynamite next to you.
What a great teammate I found.
All right. First things first. All of a sudden, you're just gonna have blaster shots come pouring in through the doorway. We'll make them roll first. One against you and one against him.
Scott, why didn't I buy a grenade or something? Come on.
First one, they're gonna get a black dice added to their pool because you are behind cover, so it's not like this is gonna be pure defense. And then they're just gonna make their attack against the normal difficulty dice. Holy Jesus Christ! What an incredible roll! All right, and then we will go to the second attack, and then just another success. But they rolled a bunch of disadvantages, which.
Oh great! Now that I'm bleeding out of my ears, they might have stubbed their toe. All right.
All right, so you take a total of 4 damage after your soaks 2, so you take 4. So you add that to your current wound threshold.
All right.
And then he takes a total of 3 after his soak. He gets hit.
A lot.
Yeah, it's almost as though you peek up to take shots, and basically as the fire is ripping through, you take a couple of nicks here and there, and then that'll count as his roll. So now your turn to make an attack as well.
Okay. Well, I'm going to attack, so I need to go to
Yes.
skills. Is that right, or do I combat here?
Yep,
Where
you
do I
just
go to roll my attack?
you actually just go to your weapons. You're under combat, and you just hit the giant D20 right between critical and encumbrance.
Okay, got it.
So
Well.
you make your rolling attack.
I triumphantly failed.
Okay. I think the
With
way that
disadvantage.
so the way that works technically is the success of the triumph gets negated regardless, but you still succeed. This is the point where like the symbols get a little confusing, but I'm pretty sure you fail. Let me double check.
So glad I put all that into range.
Yeah, you fail. So you fire a shot off. I would take the 2 strain if I were you. For that, and you just gain basically one advantage from the triumph. That really doesn't do much. And then it will go to this guy's turn to take a shot at you. Not take a shot at you. Take a shot at the bad guys. Man, that is unfortunate. Holy shit, he did incredibly well.
What is happening right now? Am I dead?
So he actually just like pops up, takes a shot, and you just hear and one of them collapses to the ground. Like a dead thud of a body collapses to the ground as dynamite obliterates one of them.
Oh, that was him attacking?
Wait, why did he roll with 2 yellow? Hold up. That was my mistake.
Wasn't it their turn? Don't they have another NPC?
I actually took both of their turns at the same time. That didn't count.
Okay.
Here's the problem. I'm rolling with the bad guy's skill. Give me a second here. It's not exactly as good as it looks. I apologize. It should be ranged light, and he should be rolling. That's much better. He still hits, and he still knocks one out completely. However, it's a little bit more difficult for him. And then it goes to the top of the order, to the only one alive, the only bad guy alive. And now he takes a shot at you guys.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be 4 triumphs and...
I shouldn't have been rolling as well as I did. That first roll was terribly too good. He misses completely. The shot leaves a burn mark in the table, a loud thud as the blaster fires off. It goes to you.
I was a little worried this was Darth Vader I was going up against.
It is up to you. Now you may make your roll against these guys.
I'm going to attack again, and this time I'm going to take the potato out of the front of the gun and try actually shooting. I can't believe that was in my pocket. Totally forgot that it got.
So the energy potato, of course.
Yeah, this is gonna be a headshot. Well, boom. Never mind.
Yep, never mind. The triumph success was negated from the one failure that you rolled. My God, I have never seen somebody roll so many triumphs that are negated. Incredibly.
So why does it show in the result 2 disadvantage in the triumph still? Is that just
because the triumph also counts as an advantage,
okay.
as well as other things, so it still kind of counts. And triumphs are always shown regardless for some reason in this program, even when they're completely negated.
This is all because all of my test rolls were great.
Were incredible. They were absolutely incredible.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put the potato back in there because I guess I was closer with it. So.
All right. The other guy's dead, and so it just goes to Dynamite, who looks very, very nervous and looks to lean out and take another shot. However, he is going to... I don't need that open. I just need this open. Okay. Here he goes. Because they're never completely negated. Yeah, true. He failed miserably. He missed.
Sweet.
So there's just a lot of blaster fire kind of crisscrossing like crazy right now. And then it goes to the top of the order. The bad guy takes a shot at, this time at Dynamite. He's going to take a black dice because you guys are still behind cover.
Okay.
He succeeds and actually hits Dynamite rather hard. He does a total of 3... Yeah, he does 4 damage after the 3 he's taken. He's taken a total of 8 damage. This is after Dynamite basically peeps over the table to take a shot, the one that misses. And as he pops out, he gets nicked right in the collarbone, right near the neck, and he gets sent flying back onto his ass, and kind of leans up against the wall as he clutches his wound, and his holdout pistol kind of falls from his hand as he's like, oh, that one fucking got me. Oh shit. And it goes to you.
All right. Well, I'm going to shoot again and hope that, maybe I can kill this guy and then tend to this dude's wounds. So, here we go.
You are to take a shot.
All right.
Oh, my God. Oh, this is so good. Do you take that as strain?
Yeah. Why not?
Pop 2 strain.
My brain's about to explode from the fact that I have training at this.
What is your strain at right now?
Let me get back to that. It is at 5 after this.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad.
I feel like it's at 8 because I'm about to explode from the frustration of this battle.
Poor Wade. Poor Wade. All right. So you fire off and miss again, and you hear the calm voice of the guy who, by the way, isn't shooting at you. The people you're shooting at were 2 complete strangers, 2 humans, not in any uniform or anything, but they clearly work for this guy. And you hear the voice is like, "Listen, I can. I heard him scream. He's Listen, hand him over and this can be over. This is your last opportunity.
I've been trying to go easy on you guys. I'm going to start shooting to kill now.
All right. So that was your shot. Then it goes to Dynamite, who wastes his turn just clutching at himself. And he looks to be...
Stim pack? Can I like toss him my stim pack or something?
You can use a stim pack on him on your turn if you so choose.
That would take my action though, right?
You could also roll it to him. Yeah. But that would also use up your maneuver action, not your action. So.
Well, being as I'm not maneuvering, I guess I'll
yeah,
do
you
that.
could easily kind of toss it his way.
And that'll help, right? That'll get him back into the action.
He can stab himself with it and heal himself.
He's the only one here who knows how to shoot. I need him back.
All right, this guy takes a shot this time at you.
All right, good. Good.
He hits.
That's what I was hoping for.
But you take 2 soak, so you end up taking only 2 damage. To your wounds.
Only 2. Good, because I can only take 3 more until I'm like dead.
Oh Jesus, are you really?
I'm at 8. Yeah.
8 on your
8
wounds.
8 wounds.
Damn. All right.
This has not been kind to me. You rolled 4 successes your first shot.
Listen, that was just lucky. Is all I'm saying.
All right, well, I'm gonna shoot and pray.
You got this, man. You got this.
Thank you so much, everyone, for having me on the show. It's been a
a good time. Character gen starting next week. For
boom. Oh,
hey, you hit him. And honestly, because the way minions work is whenever they take strain, all they actually do is take straight damage. So technically, he's taken 2 damage from his 2 disadvantages that he rolled on the last turn. Plus the 5 that you do, -1 soak 4. That's going to be enough to knock him off of his ass and send him up against the wall and kind of slide down against the wall.
Yay! Thank you, potato. There's actually this is now canon. There's actually a potato at the end of this crappy blaster that helps stabilize it.
It's just like something you jammed on there, hoping for the best.
Yeah, there's the Star Wars equivalent of a potato at the end of this gun.
So with that, you actually do hear the voice coming from around the wall. He's like, God damn it. Do you understand you're messing with the Empire?
Oh, quite well. Happy to help. Do you want to come in here and we can talk about it?
No, I'm going to kill the both of you.
You're welcome to try. Your friends did.
And
While
now
I'm, like, bleeding out and coughing up blood.
Yeah, exactly. That's Dynamite. Dynamite's bleeding out and coughing up. Well, you're close to it.
I'm not far behind.
You're not doing supremely well. The guy steps into the doorway and just opens fire. He'll make his shot now.
Good. I can take it. Dynamite,
However,
if you waste that stim pack, I swear.
He misses. He misses completely. And it will go to Dynamite. So did you, on your turn, I'm assuming, use your maneuver to roll him?
I gave him my stim pack.
So he rolls, he grabs it, and you hear him kind of grit his teeth and take a sharp intake of breath before he jams the stim pack into him, healing him almost all of the damage he took on his turn. It will then roll to top of the order, and that's actually going to be you, because this bad guy goes after you.
Good. Taking a shot. Potato be true! Yes!
You hit with 2 advantages. You do 5 -1 4. You hit him square, and before he quickly ducks back behind the wall, kind of baring his teeth and kind of moaning in pain. And then it'll go to him. He just doesn't say anything and fires a shot.
Okay.
He hits, doing 2 damage to you.
Woo! Up to 10.
Damn. And then it goes to Dynamite, who scrambles back to behind the table and looks to you, and he's like, do you think we're going to be okay?
Oh, yeah. Just shoot him.
And he leans up over the table and is like, whatever you say! Takes a shot. He's actually behind cover now.
Oh, Dynamite. Oh, man.
4, 5. It takes 4, and then the 3 from you. And that's all it takes with the last shot before you hear another collapse to the ground of a body hitting the floor just outside the door. Out of combat. You're out of combat. Don't have to worry. And he's kind of clutching himself. And he looks to you. He's like, you look real bad. Are you going to be okay?
Oh, yeah. Just another day at the office. I'm gonna scramble over and see if that guy happened to have a stim pack on him. I could use something right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So you scramble just to go over, and as you actually enter the hallway to go through the body of this man, you actually see people standing outside their doors and heads poking out doors in a very curious fashion. And as you make eye contact with them, they quickly kind of put their heads back in the door, and the door shuts. Curious, but not that curious about what's going on. As you kind of fiddling through his pockets, you do come across a stim pack that is in one of his pockets that you're easily able to pull out.
I'm going to inject the shit out of that.
You heal 6.
All right.
Good job. And it's almost immediate as you can feel the medicine enter your bloodstream and rush through your body completely. As you kind of stand up and turn around, you do see Dynamite got like kind of an armful of data pads that he's kind of dumping into a bag that he's tying up and throwing over his shoulder.
I'm just going to look at him and be like, do you trust me now?
As much as I think I can.
I'll take it.
Where
we
we
need
go?
to get out of here before more come.
Yeah, I can't believe they found me. Go, lead the way.
All right, so we're gonna head out of the building. Do I have a way of contacting the lady? Do I have a way?
You
of telling her?
absolutely do. You can contact her via your via your what do you call it? Your not your microphone.
Comlink.
Comlink, the handheld.
Okay,
comlink.
I want to call her and I want to tell her. I'm just gonna like, I want him to hear. I don't want any of this to be secret. I've got the package. We just had to fight stormtroopers. We cleared them out, but more might be on the way. We're heading. Or where do you want us to meet? I'm gonna like, where do you want us to meet? I want her to I want her to pick up on the idea that he has a weapon. He helps me fight, but he's still alive, and I've kind of deceived him without giving it away to him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and you're wording it in a way that makes sense for her to do so.
Right.
However,
it makes sense for him too, because if I'm saying like those words, it's like, yeah, well, duh, he's letting them know that we're okay.
Right. After a few little beats of silence, you just hear, "Where you accepted the job, I'll be there."
All right, I'm gonna say okay.
Okay.
I need to try to disarm this guy somehow because I don't think walking into the bar will. Well, maybe not. Maybe that'll be okay. Not my problem once I get them the package, right?
Right.
So
I mean, it's up to you. However much you care to take care of whatever's going on.
I'm gonna look at him just like in a friendly kind of manner and be like, "Care for a drink?"
He kind of just nods and follows kind of sheepishly behind you, head hung a little low and hunched over from the backpack full of stuff that he has on his back.
Okay. I want to like make sure I search these guys. I don't know if this is necessary, but I want to make sure I search these guys and taken anything of value on them, information or weapons or whatever else that I can say.
They all have blaster pistols, which is what they were using to fight you.
Can I carry any of these?
I mean, yeah, you could absolutely. Each one is going to be one encumbrance. So you carry every one you carry is going to add 1 to encumbrance on your character sheet. And the only one that has a data pad is the man that you saw downstairs that you just killed, who has a data pad in his jacket.
I want to make sure I get the data pad. Does that weigh something that weighs?
I think it's a 1 encumbrance as well.
So can I max
total
my encumbrance or can I not?
Yep, you can max your encumbrance. Yep.
So I'm gonna take the data pad
and the 3 pistols.
And then 3 pistols.
Okay. Yeah, so that'll add 4 encumbrance total to what you've got.
Okay.
Cool. So you make your way back into the busy streets, and almost instantaneously as you hit those busy streets, you blend in with the crowds. It's very easy to kind of disappear into the crowd of people. Dynamite stays incredibly close to you, almost to the point of bumping into you very, very often because he does not want to get lost amongst the people. At a few points, you can actually feel him grab hold of your jacket just to make sure that he doesn't lose you. You're maybe 30 minutes from the cantina. And is there anything you wanted to talk to him about before you get to the cantina, or do you just want to get to the cantina?
No, I want to keep a low profile.
Okay.
I want him to continue. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm too interested. I want to very much seem like I'm doing my job. I'm getting him to safety, and then my part in this is over. I don't want to be too curious in what he's into. Okay. I'm just going to do my job and get it done.
All right, so you get to the cantina, no problem. The bouncer lets you in without issue, recognizes you, and lets him in with almost expecting you, presumably expecting you. And in the back table sits that woman, as was she that was there before, alone with 2 chairs.
As we go to sit with her, I want to say, like, we need to get him out of here now, and then we can talk.
She raises her hand to you. As you finish your sentence, she raises her hand. She's like, I understand. We managed to bring everything that we requested. She looks to you.
I nod. I say he has kept the information out of Imperial hands, and he is still in possession of it.
Good. She stands up. She's like, 2 of you may follow me. As she gets up, keeps the data pad close to her. She actually walks to behind the bar. There's a door, and the door opens, and she walks through that.
Okay.
2 of you follow in tow. As the door shuts behind you, what you're met with is a rather nice office. An office that doesn't seem to fit the aesthetic and the atmosphere of the bar and town you're in. It's clean, and there's a lot of kind of just paperwork on a desk in front of you. No pictures or anything. It's pretty bare, but it's a clean, proper looking area. And behind the desk sits another human male. He's got a very crisp, clean goatee, short black hair. He doesn't wear glasses or anything, and his eyes are actually instantaneously notable as bizarrely colored. They are almost colorless completely. He looks up from whatever he's doing as the three of you walk in, and he gestures to the two chairs sitting in front of his desk as the woman walks behind the desk and stands behind him properly.
Okay. Just to reiterate that we're armed, I'm going to ask, do you need our blasters? I'm gonna offer my gun almost as like a peace offering here, just to insinuate that he still has a blaster on him before they say anything.
Yeah, the man behind the table smiles and he nods and he actually taps the desk expectantly, as though he wants your blasters there.
Okay, I'm gonna look at the guy, nod. I'm gonna take out my blaster and set it on the table.
Okay. After a little bit of a few seconds of awkwardness, Dynamite will reach for his holdout blaster and shakily place it on the table and push it forward. Do you keep the other three blasters? Where are you keeping the other three blasters on you at this point? Because you are carrying them and they are encumbering you. Or are they kind of like in
I imagine I have either like pockets or like a little satchel that I've got the data pad in. I'm probably keeping them like
hidden or like in the satchel. Yeah, that's fine. He'll look over to the lady that you've been dealing with as she reaches out and pulls both those blasters and kind of puts them off into an area behind her. The gentleman then looks up and crosses his arms and he's like, well, where's everything I asked for? Here he is, and I'm surprised you were able to get him so easily, but I am happy. But I specifically am looking for the information he holds. And then his gaze goes from you, Wade, and locks directly eyes with Dynamite.
Okay, so Dynamite had like a bag he was putting everything into, right?
He has a bag of stuff that he grabbed.
Yeah, I'm going to say he has all of the information in the bag. I assure you, it's all there. None of it fell into Imperial hands. So I still want to keep Dynamite like on my side, but I want to let the guy know, like, I didn't fail. The job is there.
Right.
I was like, everything that was important is in that bag.
Dynamite looks to you in the midst of you saying this. He's like, I thought we were just getting off of this, getting me out of here.
It's important that the Imperials don't have any of this knowledge. Again, this is above my pay grade. I'm just ensuring them that we were thorough in getting you out of here with all of your information.
He then looks over to the gentleman. He's like, all right, if I give you what I have, am I going to be safe? Am I going to be taken care of? Am I going to be out of here? The comm guy looks over to Dynamite. He's like, I promise, once everything's in my hands and we're assured that we have everything we're looking for, we'll get you to a place where you can't be hurt or kidnapped or taken away anymore. You have our word. A few minutes pass and Dynamite shakes his head very quickly and then rips open his bag and starts placing datapad after datapad and little gizmos and stuff and just kind of keeps shoving it forward. The lady steps forward and takes a few of the data pads and starts going through them. Meanwhile, the guy behind the desk is kind of picking up a few odds and ends here and looking at them, giving kind of weird looks of approval and intrigue before putting them back down and opening a data pad. And they probably go through this stuff for an hour. An hour of silence, no communication, no conversation, and them just going through what he presents them.
I'm just going to sit there calmly and quietly and not say a word unless asked.
Okay. Dynamite will nervously look back to you and then back to him and then to the lady and kind of just around the room throughout this hour. He taps his foot, he shakes, he's very, very nervous.
I want to look calm, like this is a standard procedure kind of look, like, you know, I'm just like, you know, looking at my nails or something like.
Right. That will eventually bring him down from his nerves a little bit. He's still very nervous and very wide-eyed, but the fact that you are just kind of playing Joe cool, it kind of wears off on him a little bit. Eventually, the gentleman will kind of put everything down, take a deep breath. It's like, impressive. You got everything we were asking for. And then some. And then he gestures to Dynamite. Well, I appreciate everything you've done for us, Siam, and you will be taken care of accordingly, as promised. As for you, Jaren, and he looks over to Dynamite. And then Dynamite looks up almost nervously as his actual name is spoken. For the first time that you've heard it. He's like, we appreciate everything you've done for us. And then the man behind the desk gets out from out the desk and actually walks around to the side of Jaren or Dynamite. And he's like, and as I promised, we will take care of you and make sure nothing comes to harm. And before you can almost react, before there's even a chance for you to realize what's going on, the calm, cool, collected man with almost one smooth motion pulls a holdout blaster from his side, levels it at the temple of Jaren, and pulls the trigger. A blaster shot rings across the room, and Jaren slumps forward and crumples off of his chair, dead as hell.
Okay.
Jaren puts his pistol down. Rather, the man puts his pistol down, and then walks back behind the desk, and he kind of cracks his fingers. He's like, it's been a damn long time since I've done that. Feels good, actually, putting a bullet in somebody who deserves it.
I'm gonna not react at all, and I'm gonna say there's one more thing.
Please.
The men that attacked us, there was a data pad on one of them. I'm curious if you're interested in purchasing that information as well.
I'll do you one better. How's that? You put the information in front of my desk, and I'll make sure you get out of here alive.
I nod, I smile and nod. And I look at the lady that I'm assuming she's still in there.
Yeah, she's just standing there quietly,
Okay.
watching.
All right. And I want to say we've had fair dealings in the past. You asked me for the data pad this man possessed. I brought that to you. I brought you him as live, which was the bonus. And there was even more information than just the data pad. I believe I've gone above and beyond already. This bonus information, I didn't even have to bring it to your attention, but I'm offering you from a business standpoint and as a friend. If you want to kill me for it, I suppose it's up to you. But I think I've proved myself a valuable asset. So I'd appreciate some compensation for this, and then I'll be on my way.
You're right. You are incredibly valuable. You were valuable for every job leading up to this one. You could, in fact, say you proved yourself worthy of this particular job by doing everything we asked you in the past. However, circumstances fall as they are, and I kind of just roll with the punches. You have information from a rival. I want it, and I'm not going to pay for it. And if you force me and force my hand, I'll let you live. But I can't promise I'll let your mother live.
I'm going to smile. I'm going to take out the data pad. And I'm going to set it down. And I'm going to turn and just leave. I'm going to say good day as I walk out.
Siam, one thing before you do go. If you don't mind. I set up a flight. You'll be leaving this planet. Tonight. You won't have any access to talking to your mother. You're not going to let her know. And we're going to move you. I'd rather not kill you. I will if I have to, but I'd rather not. See, I really quite enjoy this part. Letting those know who worked for me, who they were working for exactly. I appreciate your help in establishing an Empire foothold out here. The Empire thanks you for all of your work.
Without saying another word, I continue on.
Have a good day, Siam.
Oh.
And you walk out, and the door shuts behind you. What is the first thing Siam does?
I think he just tries to collect himself. I think he's seething with rage right now. I think he's like putting the pieces together in his mind. I mean, kind of like I'm doing, where it's like thinking about who that other man was and how perhaps he should have talked with him and figured out more about who he was working for. I think he's also trying to think of what the best thing to do with his mother is. I feel like his first instinct is to go get her and disappear again. But he's trying to think of what the coolest, how to stay cool and think his way through this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he goes back to his apartment and he tries to find out. I think he goes back to like looking into things a little bit. He knows he's got a limited window, so he's not going to sit there for hours. But I think he wants to, now that he's seen the guy behind the curtain a little bit, see if he can find anything else out about him.
Absolutely. So you walk into your apartment, and what you see is a sight that you were not expecting. Your apartment is 100% empty. All your furniture is missing. Everything is gone. Expertly removed. It's not like, it doesn't look like everything was broken into. It doesn't look like somebody robbed you. It looks like professional movers came and took everything.
Okay. So with that,
It's becoming a little bit more clear, I'm assuming, to Siam that you may have been being used.
oh yeah, that's definitely, he
Yeah.
fully understands that. The question is, how many steps ahead of him are they?
Mm.
Because he realizes, he's behind on the board right now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to figure out what the right steps are to get back ahead or at least get even. So he knows he can't just, go in there and fire on these people, but it's most important to him that he protects his family. So perhaps he plays the part of the pawn for now until he finds out more about these people.
Okay. So walking into the apartment and seeing everything's gone, what is your next step then? Check on your mom?
I mean, yeah, didn't they say specifically though not to go talk to her?
No, what they said is they've got. Oh, yeah, they did. They said that basically they've got a ticket for you, and they're gonna get you off this planet tonight, and you are to do as they say, and to not talk to your mother and let her know anything. However, it's up to you whether you want to follow that or not.
Okay. So with my father having been a Bothan spy,
Mm-hmm. And your mother having rebel leanings.
I feel like she knows how to disappear. I think he would have passed that knowledge on to her. So I think, I don't know if I'm allowed to make this kind of stuff up, but I imagine we would have some way of messaging each other or letting each other know something's wrong and that we need to disappear.
That's you can make up whatever you want. If you'd like that, if you think that's something that you guys would have, then you are welcome to have that.
Being in a family of spies, I
Right.
feel like that makes sense to have some kind of like subtle way of saying you need to go.
Do you it could be something as little as or as easy as like Morse code through like turning your comm link on and off enough times on her side of things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think whatever our signal is, I think maybe I just walk by where she lives and there's like a rock or something outside that I turn, or
Yeah,
something
that too.
something like that, something subtle where I just walk by and I see something and I pick it up and set it back down in like a different way and then I move on.
Sure. Could you, while walking by your mother's house, make me a perception check, please?
Okay. I need to get back under
Apartment or building or whatever.
Yeah.
1 success and 3 advantages. There you go, man. That's what we like to see. You're
Finally,
walking.
when it's not my life's not at stake.
So you walk by and you're going to like turn a rock or do what you do to signal like, hey, things are maybe going south. I'm going to disappear for a little while. Maybe you should as well. You actually get a glimpse at the house itself and everything looks fine. On the outside, everything looks fine, except one little thing catches your eye. Her front door seems to be just slightly ajar. And that's not something she does.
Okay, immediately at this point, family means a lot to Siam.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to forego what he was thinking about, and he's going to go in.
Okay. So you walk over and you just immediately press the door, and the door opens all the way, and you just, I assume, kind of barge in, just in a panic, or are you quiet, or how does Siam want to
He kind of knows what he thinks he might be walking into, so he's trying his best to stay collected and stay alert and be prepared that maybe the people that were here to either take his mom or kill his mom or whatever it may be could still be around. So he's trying to stay vigilant and on top of things.
Okay.
But inside, his heart's pounding and...
Okay. So as you step in, the sight before you is a scary one. I don't want to say gruesome because you don't see a body. You do see, however, furniture flipped upside down, signs of at least a struggle having happened here. And as you walk your way through the very small kind of living quarter she may or may not be in, you realize she's nowhere to be seen. But
Okay.
there are a couple of blaster scorch marks on the wall. But you see no blood, and you see, most importantly, no body.
Okay, is there any indication? I want to look around and see if there's any indication that maybe she left a message of some kind.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Okay. I want to do my best not to disturb the scene too much in case someone comes to see if I've been here or not. But
Sure.
I do want to see if she's maybe left me something.
Sure.
Oh, I know my mom. I know my mom.
As you are going throughout the house to see if there's something that indicates that she's left you a note or something, the fact that there is no body to be found is encouraging to you right out the gate. There are signs as you kind of pick through the mess and whatnot that there was no body dragged out. It's not so much what you find, because she didn't leave you any sign. It's more of what you are not finding in the signs of a struggle. If they had killed her or if they had stunned her, there would be signs of her being drugged through the house or things disturbed in a very particular way. But what you see is, at the very least, she took the fight outside. She left the house in some way, and maybe with those people in tow, since there's no bodies of those who were fighting her here either. Hell, it could have been that they arrived and she was already gone, but they still made it look like there was a scene of a fight or something to make it look more believable, that it was more of a breaking and entering more than a kidnapping. Whatever it is, you do firmly believe that at the very least she is 100% alive, and there's a 50-50 shot she got away.
Okay. With that, I'm going to try to make sure everything's as it was. And I guess I'm going to play puppet a little bit longer and listen to them. Just in case they have her, I want to make sure that I'm not putting her in jeopardy.
Okay. So as you kind of walk out of the house and reintegrate yourself with the bustling crowd, no one seems to give a shit about what's going on. You pop open your data pad and you do see you have a ticket to Tatooine.
Okay.
Under your name. It is to leave tonight, and that's all it really says. Are you waiting for them to make contact with you before your flight? Do you go to the starport and ready yourself, or?
I, at this point, want to have as little contact with them as possible. If they're going to force contact, I'll accept it. But okay. I'm still so upset that I feel like I might make a bad decision if I'm around them.
Impulsive decision.
Yeah, and Siam is all about being calculating and taking his time and not being too impulsive unless he has to be. Mm-hmm. So he's going to try his best just to do what they said very precisely to make sure he goes and gets on his flight. But he's not going to contact them or wait for them to contact him unless that was what they told him to do.
Okay, no problem. So you make your way to the starport, and they do not contact you whatsoever. They're completely kind of radio silent from you. And your plan is to go on the flight, right?
Yeah, that's what they told me to do. So I'm.
Yep. And you're planning on listening. Basically, is what I'm asking you. Yeah.
Just in case they have
your mother.
Siam's mom.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get you. You're playing the part. You board the large vessel, the kind of like a rinky-dink cruiser, more or less, something that has clearly been in use longer than it should be, but still is being used for one reason or another. And you kind of buckle in, and as you sit down into your seat and you strap yourself in, it seems like you're going to have no guests whatsoever next to you. You're going to have a free seats, which is always so cherished on any flight. To have a complete row to yourself. Before, right at the last minute, a very clean-looking gentleman, one you don't recognize, boards the flight and makes his way to you, sits down next to you, and straps himself in. Doesn't say anything to you, though. But it's notable.
Nothing to say either.
Yeah, but the reason it's notable is because, like everybody you've dealt with, these people are a little too clean, and they almost, now especially, stick out to you. Yeah. Your Siam is probably is relatively certain that this guy.
I think in Siam's mind, the moment that seat wasn't taken right away was an indication that it was either paid to be empty or someone else was going to come sit in it. So I think he.
Not surprised, more or less.
I think he's expecting someone's going to come and make sure he was following orders.
Cool. Throughout the entire flight, the gentleman doesn't say a word. And as you arrive in Tatooine, more or less the takeoff is a little bumpy. And it's your typical Star Wars scene where as you enter space and break through, the streaking stars jumping into hyperspace are seen. And this is something Siam has experienced before. The jump into hyperspace doesn't rattle him or make him sick in any way. This is something that he has done enough in the past. As you jump into hyperspace and you're in hyperspace for a little while, the gentleman actually kind of crosses his legs and looks over and he's like, "It's a good thing you listened. Smart boy."
Siam doesn't say a word or acknowledge him. He just continues to sit. I think right now Siam's pondering, like, if the Empire's divide, like, why were there stormtroopers attacking him? Mm-hmm. And then he was also still working for the Empire. Like, what was the play there?
Yep.
Is it two different factions of the Empire playing against each other? Is it, was, the one just a disguise? I think he's wondering, he's just replaying that day before him over and over again to try to figure out what he could have done differently.
No problem.
He likes to learn. I feel like he feels like he made a mistake today, and he wants to learn how he let himself walk into such an obvious trap.
Yeah. and you know, you'll have plenty of time to figure that out. Along the hyperspace drive, after he says that, you guys go silent for what seems like hours, until eventually he opens up a conversation. He's like, all right, so I'm here for a simple reason. I'm to tell you your next step. First, I'm impressed you jumped on the flight, and I figured you were a flight risk, but not one that was going to follow instructions, one that was maybe going to try and take revenge. And by the way, I'm very happy you didn't. Once on Tatooine, you're to stay there. You'll make a life, you'll take on a name, hell, if you want to go by your real name, you're welcome to do so. You stay out of our business. Now, if my boss had his way, you'd be 6 feet under along with Jaren. But the girl likes you. You rubbed her. That was gonna be worded completely inappropriately.
I rubbed her the right way.
Yeah, you rubbed her the right way.
I got paid for this, right?
Yeah,
they already paid me.
Oh no, you did not get any money. Nope, they never paid you. If you go to check your data pad like right now to see if your account is filled, you will see that the money was not put into your account. So he continues like, whatever it is about you, she liked you. She bargained for your life. Take that as a gift. It's not often Empire gives the gift of life back to those that they deem a loose end. So we're giving you one opportunity to stay out of our shit. You're going to go to Tatooine, where all the other people who want to disappear go, and you're going to stay there. I don't give a shit what you do with your life. Grow old, commit suicide, become another drug runner on Tatooine, become the Hutt's little personal play toy. I don't care. It's not my business. My business is to tell you to stay there. You don't leave, you don't make any fuss, and you'll be okay, as will your mother.
So I'm going to stay silent until the point where I can split off from this guy, whether it's getting off the plane or whatever else it might be. And I'm going to just say, like, in a nice, calm, polite way, like, I still expect to get paid. And I don't want to even give him a chance to say anything else. I'm just going to, like, make my way away.
To, like, a different, like, another area of the site, of the ship, rather?
Well, no. Once we get off the plane, like,
once you get off the plane. Oh,
once we're landed, like, you know, we're getting ready to get off. The last opportunity I get to say that, I'm going to say that and, like, just get out.
Okay.
I'm not going to give him an opportunity to say anything or even react. I'm just gone the moment that those words are spoken.
So what ends up happening is when you land and you do say that, something you do notice, he never unbuckles himself. He never gets up from the seat. He does not look like he's getting out of the ship at all.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
Yeah. Don't care about that. Just want to make sure he knows I expect my money and I'm gone.
Yep. And as you kind of walk out and the wind kicks up and the dusty, grimy planet of Tatooine hits you, that smell of bantha shit and dewback shit and the two twin suns beaming down, completely hotter than any planet you've really experienced before, greets you.
I've just been in an apartment building for like an hour that smells like nothing but human feces, vomit, and drugs.
Now you're animal feces.
This might be welcomed.
That's true. This could be like nature for
you.
Yeah,
this is like a nice tropical paradise vacation from
and
where I just spent my time.
And you kind of step away from the starship, and the very first thing that greets you here on Tatooine are street vendors. Right within the starport itself, people are lining the ship as you walk out and be like, "Oh, I got this little, I got a comm jammer, 600 credits for a comm jammer," and somebody else is running up to you. It's like, "What do you need? I got death sticks, I got Avabush spice, I got the blue stuff. What are you looking for?" And they just surround you. Again, not something that you're not familiar with, but maybe, you know, Siam's just a little bit overwhelmed right now just because of certain circumstances before he pushes his way.
I think he has a look, like a look he's perfected.
Like, go fuck yourself look?
So I think he just simply gives the look, and I think they, at this point, can see, like, there's something about to burst. Maybe there's, like, a blood vein or something, like, in his little head or Bothan head that's about to, like, burst. But I think he just gives a look, and everyone knows, like, not today. All right, got it.
Most people do actually pay attention to that, except for one man who comes up, and he's got this really long trench coat, and he's got just pants, but he's got no shirt underneath. And he's like, hey, you look like you need a translator. You need a translator? Got a translator. Translate over 6,000 languages, all for yourself. And I promise it's super cheap. 50 credits. 50 credits, you get yourself a translator. You can talk to all the different people here on this planet. Looks like you need to talk to some people. Maybe you need a job. Maybe you need a place to live. Hey, maybe you just need a place to go and drink. And if you can't speak the languages, we can help you out. What do you say?
So where exactly am I? Am I like at the starport?
You're walking like you're walking like into the starport. You're leaving the area that the ship landed, and you're walking into the starport.
So it would be like counterintuitive to actually just pull out my blaster and shoot this guy right here.
I mean, there's starport guards around. They're not like stormtroopers. They're kind of local guards, but there are people that you recognize. While they don't have a uniform, there are some people that are carrying bigger guns more openly than everybody else.
Okay. Well, Siam's not really a brawny guy, so I feel like throwing a punch would be the same as like throwing a piece of spaghetti at him.
I mean, that's up to you.
I think Siam turns around.
Mm-hmm.
He smiles.
And the guy smiles back at you with like crooked, rotting teeth in his mouth.
And he's just going to look at him in the eye and say, "If you speak one more word to me, I will shoot you right here and now. I've got nothing left to lose today, and this would be a perfect way to go out."
But
that's all
he like goes to say goodbye. Like he goes, but, and he walks away.
And Siam's slightly disappointed because at this point he just would love to murder someone. So he's slightly disappointed that the guy didn't press on. Just like shrugs and turns around and keeps making his way out.
And the camera kind of sticks by the ship as you see Siam walk into a thick crowd of people making his way into the starport. The crowd of people kind of surrounds him as he disappears into it, as the camera kind of pans up to the twin suns and it gets white out. And we'll call that episode 0. Welcome to Tatooine, Wade.
Thank you. It's awful to be here.
I hope you had fun. I hope Chad had a really good time too. I know there was a ton of new people that came in to watch and didn't really necessarily know what D&D is about. So for those who were interested, I hope you guys had a good time.
What do you think, Wade? Shot that guy. I wanted to just shoot that guy so bad.
I mean, you could have. You don't know what
if we were outside, maybe. But I feel like
you were outside technically, but like it was still in the starport.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. If you had killed him, I'm sure Scott would have been real happy about it. That guy bugged Scott in his episode as well.
Well, for the sound of it, I was still like in the area that those guards would be like.
Oh yeah. You would have definitely something would have happened. Who knows?
And I'm not exactly shown to be the best shot today, so odds are I would have missed and hit the guard.
You did have a bit of a rough go with the rolls, I'll tell you that.
Man, I told you the moment that every roll during like the setup was good, I was like, I used it all. It's all bad from here.
Well, I hope you had a good time. I told you once you kind of understood how the rules worked, it's pretty simple, the way things go. But next Wednesday will be episode 1, where the entire party is now on Tatooine. For one reason or another, every single person has found themselves on Tatooine. And what ends up happening next should be really, really fun. I'm really pumped because I've got all of episode 1 planned, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. So next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Fated in the Stars will truly, truly begin, and we'll see what ends up happening with this ramshackle party of ours.
I'm excited. I'm so excited to see how everyone interacts and how Siam reacts to these different people.
I am too. I think my biggest curiosity as far as the party is concerned is who's going to get close with who first.
I feel like at this point, like, I don't know, Siam just literally the one lady who's given him honest or, dishonest work, but consistent work and pay also stabbed him in the back. So at this point, like, it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts to being like thrust in with other people.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see, man. I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
We'll let you know what happens next episode for you guys. Just pop in, and if you guys missed the VOD and you want to watch the VOD, if you're a subscriber of the channel, it's immediately available. And if you just want to watch it for free, give it like 1 or 2 days, and it'll be available on the YouTube channel for Lost Initiative, which is linked below. You can just click it and head over there. It's youtube.com/Lost Initiative Show, and you can watch the VODs for the other 3 characters that are already up on the YouTube channel. You can go watch Maggie's and Scott's and Doxy's, and then Wade's will be up starting in a couple of days. Thank you guys so much for watching. Wade, thank you so much for joining and
my pleasure. Playing. And one last thing, I did take the initiative to add the potato to my pistol on the sheet there.
All right, you got a potato on your pistol.
There's a potato on the end of my blaster. I said it was canon, so I'm a man of my word.
It helped you for one reason or another.
It did.
It helped you. Yeah, man. So that's great. I appreciate it. Is there anything going on this week on your Twitch channel, YouTube channel you want to pimp before we close this sucker down?
I'm the kind of guy who plans things out so well that I have no idea what's going on.
Man.
So there might be something somewhere.
Scott will attest that that's exactly how I am. And he gets really, really mad about it, which is fair. Also, hopefully by next week, either by episode 1, hopefully at least by episode 2, but hopefully by episode 1 we'll have character portraits for all 4 characters. If we don't have character portraits for all 4, we'll have character portraits for at least a couple of them, I've been promised. So we should have that as well. So hope you guys are excited. Look to the Twitter for that. You can find us at Lost in It Show on Twitter. There's a subreddit for Lost Initiative Show, the YouTube channel, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.